I really was on this constant cycle of getting sick, getting sicker, finally going to the doctor, going on antibiotics, getting better, only to get sick again.
The sicker she got, the more incapacitated she was, and more challenging it was given how busy her life was.
There were times where I was so sick that I couldn't drive my kids to school or take care of some of their needs. I depended on Ted, who was amazing, but also friends who stepped in to help. I went to a series of doctors over about a 1-year period, from an internist to an allergist to a pulmonologist to an ENT. Eventually, I was diagnosed by a doctor in Florida who told me that I had bronchiectasis, but his treatment protocol was not something that I was comfortable with. But I certainly was sad and a little scared about what it might mean for my health for the rest of my life. And then I started looking into more about what National Jewish could possibly do for me. From the minute you walk in the door, you have a team of people who are completely dedicated to you, to what's going on in your body and your life, and to figuring it out, to giving you the tools to treat it or to live with it, or both.
It was incredible to see the just this team approach day after day, more doctors being involved, consulting with one another, talking to Jill, trying to just figure it out.
So after really being sick for several years, National Jewish gave me my life back.
I rarely have asthma attacks. I have constant asthma all day long. At 6 months, I was diagnosed with asthma. I was in and out of hospitals constantly. I was known as the sick kid. If I would run, if I would climb trees, if I would play ball with the other kids, then my asthma would be exacerbated and I would likely end up in the emergency room. It was not easy. I had what was diagnosed as intractable asthma, which meant that I was resistant to medications. When I was 5, they suggested that I go to National Jewish, and I lived in Denver from 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. There were children from all different backgrounds and ethnicities. I couldn't eat anything before I went to Denver. By the time I left 3 years later, I was only allergic to nuts and fish. They would tell us to go out and play. They would tell us to run. They would tell us to swim. They would say, you be an active person. If you get sick, we'll treat you. National Jewish gave me a zest and a curiosity and enabled me and encouraged me to live the very best and get the most out of life as I could. National Jewish gave me the feeling that I always wanted to have, that I could be like everybody else. I will forever be grateful to National Jewish.
Norman had this premonition because of his mother and his sister that he needed to get lung scans every year, and they would always come back normal. And this time, it came back with something on the upper right lobe. The lobe was totally covered in a microbacterial infection. And when we asked, well, how did he get that? MD Anderson had no answer for us. It was very frustrating. You know that something's wrong. You know that you need to find out why you have this. We don't want it to reappear again in his lungs. We got the name of an infectious disease doctor, a lovely woman, and she was connected with National Jewish Health. They didn't know very much, but they said that they were going to figure this out. And so Norman was patiently going through and seeing all the different doctors, cardiologists, pulmonologists, a gastroenterologist. And it was through the gastroenterologist that they were running tests. One of the tests came back. Norman must have, one night, aspirated stomach acid. Norman had, unbeknownst to us, a lazy epiglottis. and it wasn't closing properly. After much investigation and, visiting there for several days, we were told that Norman has alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. It's a genetic blood disorder. No one ever picked it up on a blood test. No one in his family had ever been diagnosed with it. National Jewish kind of held our hands and walked us through it to find out what needed to be done so that Norman could continue living a normal life. I think I can honestly say it's given me back my husband again. The research that they do there, the doctors that take care of you, it's different from any other place we've ever been to. As wonderful as our local hospitals are, National Jewish is 100% above and beyond. They do not leave one stone unturned.
For complicated medical situations, you want to go to the source. And National Jewish is the preeminent facility for research and care of people with pulmonary disease, including asthma.
Being at the forefront of research, you have access there to techniques that aren't available elsewhere.
The entire experience was really incredible. Being there was incredible, but coming home afterwards and being able to live a much better quality life was the greatest gift.
But at the end of the day, they have all the answers you need. And that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that you don't have to walk around and not know.
I can't imagine what it would be like to have a day without asthma. Wouldn't it be awesome if there were a cure? It would change my lives. It would change so many other people's lives. And it would open up entirely new chapters for me, for Andy, for our children. To say that I would be elated is an understatement.